Welcome, Castleberry. It is now time to have a casual conversation for the beneficial good of our community. The show you are about to listen to is called What's Up, Castleberry? And now it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you your hosts, Andy and Drew, along with producer
What's up,
Robin.
podcast listeners? Andy, Drew, and producer Robin here. We are back with episode 69 of the What's Up, Castleberry podcast. We are so glad you're here joining us for our podcast today. Andy and I are Castleberry residents, local pastors, and dear friends who desire to have casual conversations about all things Castleberry. We've got a great episode for you today. Andy, as of this recording, it is the end of May 2021. School is over. We made it. It's the end of the school year in Seminole County. Woohoo! We're summertime. How you feeling?
Yeah, I think every teacher I know is feeling pretty exhausted, and every student I know is feeling pretty exuberant right now because it has been a hard year, I think, for a lot of students and for a lot of teachers. You know, I was saying to my kids the other day, hey, this school year feels like it's gone really, really fast. And they said, well, Dad, you got to remember, we weren't at school for about a third of it because of all the COVID stuff and the Seminole Connect and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's gone quickly. I think it's exhausting for many. I think it's exuberant for others. But I think one thing that everybody has in common who's connected with our education system is that they are ready for a break.
That's exactly right. You know, it's funny. In my mind, I'm not promoting this movie, listeners, but I will say I watched it, The Hangover, that came out several years ago. And there's a scene where one of the guys is a school teacher. I think it's Bradley Cooper, and he's walking out to the car. It's a Friday, and he says to one of the kids, "I do not know you. The school is over. You do not exist to me." And I do have this certain sense that the teachers, they love our kids, they love our students, but they're they're over it. It's like, I don't know you. You do not exist to me. Come back again in the fall. How are you and Tracy gearing up for the summer? Do y'all have any kind of beginning of summer plans with the kids?
Our day will probably look pretty much the same. I know our daughter's going to be working the summer, and she's she's electing to take some classes during the summer so she can get ahead because she's going to be a senior next year in high school and lots of opportunities and wants to kind of grab all of those. I think my son will use some of the time to get better in his video game skills. But we got a family vacation planned and things like that. But just before we move off the school topic, Drew, I think it's important that we give a little shout out to Lindsay Feist, who is not only a former guest on the show, episode 3, but is also the chairperson of the Castleberry Elementary PTA. And I believe it was announced yesterday that she won an award as being the best PTSA leader in the district. And
I think she was like volunteer of the year. The fact that she volunteers her time in the whole district.
Yeah. Pretty impressive.
It is. We love you, Lindsay. Congratulations to you. And also, we're very excited that Lindsay is able to kind of step aside and invest in some other things. And Jennifer Hughes, who is a friend of mine, is taken over as the Castleberry PTSA president.
Also, as we congratulate Lindsay and talk about PTSA, last Wednesday, I had my very last PTSA meeting after about 12 years of PTSA meeting because my son is leaving middle school. And I was on the PTSA when Bethany was in elementary school, then Jonathan, and then I joined the PTSA and was on the board there at middle school for 6 years with 2 kids too. So for the first time in about 12 years, I am PTSA free. Wow. And I'm hoping that I don't get
PTSD.
PTSD, yes.
I congratulations to you. I hope not as well. And I think, Andy, that we can't give a better transition to the segment that is blowing up the newsfeed that's going all over the city of Castleberry. It's time for the dad joke of the week.
All right, here we go. Robin, have you got your seatbelt on?
I'm ready.
Are you nervous about what this week is going to bring?
Nope, Drew's back. I'm ready.
Just as an aside, asking for a friend, Robin, I took over the dad joke of the week last week.
I'm aware.
How much fan mail did we get?
Your mom wrote in and she asked me not to let you do that again.
That's amazing.
As well as your children.
Way to bring in both of our moms.
Yeah, my children wrote in handwriting that looked suspiciously like mine.
Robin, I got to tell you, because you're my primary audience in this. So other listeners, we hope you enjoy this segment. As long as Robin enjoys it, I'm good with that. Robin, I laughed out loud when I read this, being all three of us are part of different churches, and there's just some church joke culture, but this bleeds over into the mainstream culture. So listen carefully. Here it is. What do you call it when Batman skips church?
What
do you call it when Batman skips church? A Christian Bale.
Oh,
a Christian Bale. There he is, the actor. You get it. Yeah. I'm not going to explain myself because I don't.
You are drifting into starting to explain yourself, which I was always told is a sign of a bad joke.
That's true. I'm going to leave it right there.
Is Christian Bale the guy who plays Batman?
He was one of them.
Oh, okay.
There are many actors to play Christian Bale. He's also a fellow Brit, I believe.
Oh, I like him then. Nice guy.
He's the best, in my opinion. He's got the deep voice I like. Well, Robin, before we get to the Castleberry,
I love how you were trying to do a deep voice then, but couldn't pull it off.
You better edit all this out right now.
Not a chance.
Robin, before Andy, stop laughing.
See, that's the dad joke of the week for me, laughing at your deep voice.
It is now time for your local update about things happening in your community. It is now time for Castleberry in the News.
We need to talk more about COVID, Andy. I mean, it's a subject that doesn't get brought up much in life. People barely know anything about it. I'm being facetious, of course. We are talking about COVID all of the time, but did feel like it was worth checking in, at least in regards to Seminole County, just making some observations and pointing out things regarding the continual loosening up of some previously set mandates. What do you feel about some of the mandates, restrictions? See more and more people out and about around town without masks, see more and more people announcing they've been vaccinated. What does this mean for our community as a whole, Andy?
I think the bottom line is it's good news that cases are going down. It's good news that vaccinations are going up. And it's good news that the regulations are loosening a little bit and things are opening up. Last week's announcement that those who are vaccinated didn't have to wear masks was, I think, incredibly encouraging. And in some ways, that was the news that we've been waiting to hear for the last 15, 16 months or so. And so when it came, it was tremendously exciting. But Drew, I don't know what your experience has been. Maybe you can chime in as well, Robin. People are still unsure what to do. And it seems now that we don't have the law to tell us what to do, that people are kind of defaulting to what does social convention look like and what do I need to do in light of that? So what I found is that I've been to the store and to Target and Walmart since the declaration. And the first couple of days, even though nobody had to wear a mask, everybody was wearing a mask. And I've been to a couple of coffee shops where really people kind of should have been wearing masks because it kind of says so on the door, but they weren't. And so for me, it's almost like now we're trying to govern ourselves and we're looking around and we're saying, okay, what's everyone else doing? And I'll just follow their lead. But it's good to be able to be in that position because none of us want to be forced to do anything or have to do anything. Now we get to choose what we're going to do.
To quote someone, Florida is often referred to as a colorful, lawless swamp. No, Michael Scott. Okay. All right.
That was a good office code. Yeah, absolutely.
I think when in doubt, wear a mask. It doesn't hurt anybody. Double protection, even if you are vaccinated. A lot of businesses can still choose to have you wear a mask, even if the state isn't. So I think as long as we're all respectful and doing what's best for ourselves, then.
Can I reveal to you guys vulnerably one change that's happened in my life since we don't have to wear masks anymore?
Yes.
I have had to invest in breath mints again.
There it is, the hard-hitting news behind the scenes. I will say, on a serious tone, for just a moment, the Andy, something you said regarding the kind kind of individualistic choice that people are making and trying to figure out and discern what is right. It is unique that you have seen, and I've seen certainly people on various ends of the spectrum. And oftentimes it really is kind of about where you're located, depending on if you're in a more open public space or outside or, in the church building or a restaurant. The attitudes differ quite significantly. And so it certainly does feel like there is almost maybe some retraining that needs to occur organically amongst our community members to recognize and reflect that people are at different places in their level of comfort. And Robin, your point is valid that if we're going to lean one way, of course, want to lean on the side of safety as well as, caring for our neighbors. But certainly I am very thankful and excited to live in a place where we have some more privileges and freedoms open to us to be able to make those choices for ourselves about how to move forward in this life. So listeners, we encourage you, be vigilant, continue to be mindful of others, but go enjoy life out there in the world around us. Now we're going to hear from our podcast partner.
Ascension Lutheran is located in the heart of Castleberry. For over 60 years, Ascension has been connecting disconnected people to the joyful community of the caring Christ. We have various Bible studies and outreach events throughout the week, and we offer both traditional, liturgical, and contemporary worship styles on Sunday mornings. For more information, please visit www.ascensionlcms.org.
Welcome back, listeners. Now it is time for our interview of the week. And today we have a very special guest. Her name is Nina. She leads the Sharing Center in Longwood, which has a huge impact, not just in Seminole County, but in Castleberry as well. And one of the reasons that we are thrilled to have Nina on the show is not just because of the great work that they do, but because this week in particular, they are celebrating a very, very special occasion. So welcome, Nina. Perhaps you could just quickly introduce yourself, but also tell us what we're celebrating as a county this week.
Absolutely, Andy. And thank you for having me on your show. The Sharing Center was formed 35 years ago. Our official birthday was May 13th, which was last week. And what happened was 35 years ago, our community came together because there was such a big gap in whether it's food insecurity or families needing their electric bill or their rent paid. And our families in need are just going from church to church to church. So the community of churches came together and united the resources, the volunteers, did food drives, and gave birth to, back then we were the South Seminole Christian Sharing Center. And over the years, because our scope of service and the geography we cover was bigger than the South Seminole side, and so we dropped the South Seminole and we were the Christian Sharing Center. And about 10 years ago, our really awesome founder, Angie Romagosa, decided to register our doing business as name of the Sharing Center. And we did so for many reasons, but the primary reason was we wanted to be more inclusive. And we've had several clients inquire, do I need to be a Christian to seek service here at the Christian Sharing Center? And the answer is no, because we serve all. So if you can get here, you will receive service. And we've been around for 35 years. We started out with a small space of under 1,000 square feet, a little warehouse. And now in this shopping plaza that we own in Longwood, it has 36,000 square footage of space, and majority of it now by 2022 will all be human services that we're providing to our clients in need. If you can get to the Sharing Center, you will receive services.
That's amazing, Nina. I love just at the top indicating how many different types of folks you serve. You all do a ton. And with that, sometimes it can be really hard to sort of frame and narrow in what are we about. So if you have kind of a tagline as an organization, maybe 1-2 sentences, what do you tell people that kind of fundamentally sums up the Sharing Center?
A lot of nonprofit agencies have very fancy and long mission statements. Ours is pretty simple and straightforward, and I believe does a really good job of describing exactly who we are and what we do. And our mission is all about providing the basic essentials to those in need while ensuring dignity, reflecting Christian generosity, and sharing God's love. So everything that we do, every single program that we have, we deliver to our clients to the best of our ability, compassionately, in a very respectful way. And an example would be, so this would be pre-COVID, client would come in, they'll fill out a short intake form, and they'll do, check marks of I'm here for rent assistance, or I'm here for emergency food assistance, or I'm here for utility bill assistance. So whatever the service that they're seeking, we make sure that they have face-to-face time with our case managers. If they're here for grocery assistance, we don't just assemble a bag of food and say, here's a bag of food for your family. So they're giving a menu. The menu is in English and Spanish, and our clients get to choose what type of beans, what type of pasta, what type of vegetables, what type of fruit, what type of protein. And so we want to give our families food that is culturally appropriate, food that is accommodating to their family if anybody has allergies. And so then our volunteers take this menu that the client selected, and they go into the pantry and start pulling food for our families. And we don't just give out the food again, when we finish assembling it, but our volunteers take the shopping cart of food, come out to the waiting room, call the client's name. We escort them to their car. We put the grocery in their trunk. And it's as if we're treating our clients as if they're shopping at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. So we basically deliver every single service that we have to the best of our ability to keep our clients' dignity intact. And I'm really proud of our team of just being very conscientious about these are people that could be our next door neighbor. It could be people that pull up next to you in a red light, or people that are sitting next to you in the church pew. And so we want to make sure that we're treating people as if we want to be treated, like our friends and family. And so that is absolutely the core of our value system.
I love that. As you were talking, the word that kept coming to my mind was dignity, dignity, dignity. And everybody is deserving of dignity. Sadly, not everybody gives it. And the fact that you do, I think, is tremendous. But 35 years. Happy birthday. I think the Sharing Center is officially older than Robin. I've been around a little bit longer, but the ministry's been around longer than our producer. And over that years, I know you've had much impact. I think I saw a statistic on Facebook just this morning that over that 35 years, you've served over 400,000 different people, 400,000 different people. And that's of a county that's only got a population of about 500,000. So what are some of the other tangible impacts that the Sharing Center has?
Well, as everyone that is listening to this podcast know that 2020 was just an extremely challenging year for many of the families we serve. But you add to it job loss and illness and mental health issues and being cooped in the house because of the lockdown. A lot of the services we provide witness a huge spike. And so, for instance, and this goes back to 35 years, the first year we outreached about 30,000 pounds of emergency food. Last year, we outreached 1.4 million pounds of emergency food.
Wow.
I mean, it's insane how the food insecurity issue in the Tri-County area, not just Seminole County, but Tri-County area is just experiencing a huge increase. Another very important statistic, it sounds like numbers to all of us, but the reality is if we're serving 18% more homeless people year over year, 18.4 to be exact, that is alarming. But the really, really alarming statistic is out of the 18% increase of more homeless people we're serving through our Oasis, when they can come and take a shower, our volunteers do their laundry. Pre-COVID, we give free haircut. They can charge their cell phone. We are their post office. So for those that are on Social Security or disability, they need to have an address to receive their checks. And so we are their their postman, we are their food provider. And out of that 18.4% increase of homeless people we're serving, we experienced a 37% increase in the services that we provided to these individuals. So what that means is not only if I'm homeless and I used to come in once a week on Monday, let's say, I take a shower, I have a hot breakfast, and then I'm giving a bag of food to go. So I received 3 services that day. Well, what's happening is I'm coming back a second time, maybe on a Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, and I'm needing maybe the haircut now, or I'm needing Demario, our Oasis manager, to help set up a meeting with our mental health counselor. And so we provide free mental health counseling to all of our clients. So the Sharing Center do the fundraising. We write checks to a third party, and the company or the nonprofit is called Florida Counseling Foundation. This awesome gentleman, the founder, is Dr. Roger Shepard, and he works with Reformed Theological Seminary students that graduate from their master's program having earned their mental health counseling degree, and they have to go through the 1,500 hours of face-to-face training before they can sit for their license test. So what we do is we do the fundraising, we pay the interns, our clients get to see the mental health counselors for free. And because we know that COVID really caused a lot of extra headaches and stress and impacted our family in a big way, we did random sampling. We took 3 months of COVID month, how many sessions we pay for, and then we compared it to 3 months of pre-COVID, and we experienced a 28% increase in the amount of mental health counseling sessions that we pay on behalf of our clients. So, between emergency food increase, between rent assistance increase, between mental health counseling sessions that we're providing, it's just been a really challenging year. And we're starting to see a little bit of positive upturn, but the worst is not over yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, thank you for being so vulnerable and honest with your sharing. I think it's important that we recognize that not-for-profits, that the business community, that all of us are both directly and indirectly impacted by the effects of COVID. And you all, we've had some conversations in the past with another partner of ours, Christian Help, and they've shared similar stories of just the increase in volume of traffic that has gone through in need of services. One thing, listeners, I hope you've tuned yourself to is that Nina is reflecting the fact that the Sharing Center is a one-stop shop in terms of needs provided, that you all do literally care from your brain to your body to what goes in your mouth to where you lay your head at night, all these different means of caring for those in our community. And so, Nina, we can't thank you enough. Nina, give us a little bit of your story. Tell us about how you ended up in the role that you're serving there.
Sometimes when God wants you to listen to a message, until your heart is really open to receive that message, he can pound it down your head multiple times and you just don't listen and you don't follow. That's kind of what happened to me, because I was working in a very similar type of agency in Orange County, also in human services, very, very similar, as a development director. So I was responsible for raising millions every year to keep our doors open to provide these services. And it was around maybe June of 2018, one of my mentor asked me to apply for this job at the Christian Sharing Center. And I said, I'm really happy here working at United Against Poverty. And I love fundraising. I love sharing the impact stories that our program were able to make on the families. And thank you that you think I'm ready. Rebecca was my mentor's name. And I said, I'm not going to apply for a new job. And then 3 months later, a different mentor of mine recommended that I look into this job again. And I've never heard of the Christian Sharing Center. We have an identity issue because even though we've been around 35 years, we're just obviously just not very well known in the community. So the second time that I was encouraged to apply for the job, it was the week before our biggest fundraiser, and we were supposed to, according to the budget, raise $250,000. And I said, we're 1 week away from our biggest fundraiser of the year. There's no way I can be distracted in applying for a new job. And thank the person that encouraged me and said, I'm not going to apply. So the fundraiser happened. It was very successful. And now we're at at Thanksgiving time of 2018. And a third mentor said to me, that Christian Sharing Center President CEO position is still open. You need to look into it. And I turned to her, and her name is Sandy. And Andy, you may know her. She was the executive director at Christian Health.
Yeah, Sandy Vidal. Yeah, Sandy has been such a great contributor to our community here in Castleberry for a number of years. Yeah,
absolutely. So we were at a fundraising luncheon, and we were sitting next to each other when she said that to me. And I turned my head and I said, Sandy, you're the third person in the last 6 months that's encouraged me to apply for this job. Maybe God is trying to send me a message 3 times. And so I went home and I reached out to a good friend of mine. 2018, he was the president of the Christian Chamber of Commerce.
Mark Goldstein. I know Mark real well as well.
Yes. So I emailed him and I said, Mark, I know it's Saturday, but I have a time sensitive question. Can I have 10 minutes of your time? So we got on the phone and I basically shared with him the story of 3 times, and how many stories do we know in the Bible that things needs to happen 3 times before we really get the message, right? Yeah. And so basically, Mark told me what a wonderful organization this is and what great work that we've been doing in the community, and also encouraged me to apply. So I finally did apply after the 3rd time that somebody encouraged me. And we were starting our phone interview the following week. And I was fortunate that somebody dropped out of the phone interview process the last minute, and I was able to take that spot. And then the rest is history. I feel like God was holding this position open for me and just wanted me to just finally say, okay, I'm committed to make this transition and that I'm the best candidate for this position. But it took me a long time to come to that realization. So I feel like God placed me in this position for a reason, whether it's for a season, but definitely he placed me here for a reason.
Well, I love that. I mean, there's no doubt that the Sharing Center is in our community for a reason, because of the very real needs that it meets. And it would make sense that you are in your role for a very specific reason as well. Nina, this has been a fascinating conversation. And as happens with all the good conversations, time just flies. So just want to ask a couple of questions as we wrap up. Over the past 35 years and over your couple of years, what would you say you are most proud of what the Sharing Center has accomplished? I
am most proud of the awesome team that we have. When I came on board, we had 37 staff members, and now we've grown to 43 staff members. But really, this work cannot be done, Andy, without our loyal volunteers. On any given day, if you come on our campus, there are more people serving on a volunteer capacity than there are paid staff. And I am so proud of our team. And I say team, including our volunteer team, our paid staff, and any partners that are on our campus providing services. That's what I'm most proud of, because this work cannot be done without an army of very compassionate individuals.
You don't accomplish what you guys accomplish without an army of volunteers. And I think one of the common misconceptions about nonprofit work is that it's really just about joining the dots and it's really pretty easy. But I think if you want to serve people with dignity, then you have to take a lot of time and a lot of investment. And I'm grateful, not just for the professional team that you have there, but for the volunteer army who serves an even larger army of people with need. So Nina, as we wrap up, there may be some people who want to know a little bit more about the Sharing Center, maybe how they can volunteer and serve and give them some of their time. What's the best way that they can connect with you and connect with the Sharing Center? And tell us about your digital presence so people can find you, like you, follow you, and hopefully connect with you.
We're very blessed with a very talented marketing team. We have every social media outlet possible. Our website, thesharingcenter.org. We're all over the place. If you would like to volunteer, all you have to do is just go to thesharingcenter.org, click on volunteer, and you fill out the application, and you can actually start signing up for a shift after you view an orientation video online, because of COVID, we've taken everything online. Sure. So it's very, very, very easy. And there's something for everybody. If you want to sit down, you can help us answer phones. If you want to be engaged with customers or our clients, you can work in the pantry and help hand out food, or you can sort clothing inside our DC, more of the back of the house. But if you want to have that face-to-face interaction, we have a lawyer who owns a law firm downtown, probably makes $500, bills $500 an hour.
Oh, wow. That's kind of Drew's salary level.
He comes on Saturdays and he helps bag stuff after the cashier rings it up because he wanted that social interaction to talk to our clients and our shoppers. We have another board member who is also from a major law firm downtown, and he bills probably more than $500 an hour. He takes every Saturday 3 hours and come and sort accessories like shoes and eyeglasses, purses, ties. He's just another awesome individual. And so we have a really great volunteer leadership team of board of directors. And so I want to give a shout out to our board members.
I love that. Those who have a responsibility to help those who have not. So listeners, as you are reflecting on this episode and all that Nina has shared with us, check out the Sharing Center's website. If you need help, they're the place to go. But if you want to give help and serve with your time as well, this is a great place to do it. Nina, thank you so much for your time. And from everybody in Castleberry and Seminole County, happy birthday. And thank you for 35 years of making our community better. Thank you, Nina, for sharing with us. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your passion, but thank you for your compassion. Over 35 years, helping over 400,000 people is really an incredible accomplishment. And we're so grateful for your presence in our community. You are an inspiration to us and to many. And as we prepare to close our podcast, I'm going to hand over to Drew for one final piece of inspiration.
Thank you, Andy. And yes, since sharing is kind of the theme of today's episode, I felt like a quote on sharing would be appropriate. So here it is from Julie Hebert. Sharing is a wonderful thing, especially to those you've shared with. Sharing is a wonderful thing, especially to those you've shared with. I think this is a quote that's significant for a couple of different reasons. Number one is, listener, you and I have something to share, whether it be something tangible like a meal or time together with somebody. We all have the opportunity to share some of the things that we've been gifted with someone else. And so I would encourage you to consider what it is that you might share with another. The second piece of this quote that I find powerful is that when you share, someone else is blessed. When you share, someone else is blessed. There's a real joy in giving, because it's in the giving, it's in the sharing that you connect with another, that you draw nearer in terms of trust with another. And as kind of a secondary matter, you also are blessed as a result of doing the giving. You end up receiving as a result of that shared experience. So Julie Hebert, thank you for this quote today. Sharing is a wonderful thing, especially to those you've shared with.
We hope that you've enjoyed this episode of the What's Up Castleberry podcast, where we host a casual conversation about our community. This podcast is produced by our pink microphoned producer, Robin. And for more information, please check out our website, Facebook page, Instagram feed, podcast feed, all that share the name What's Up Castleberry. Like and subscribe to our podcast, and please rate us and review us. Until next time, listener, we hope you have an incredible week.
Robin is Beyonce, always.